Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yankees Avenue live stream. It is, of course, an off day, Monday, July 7th. Hope everybody is doing well as we come on here for what is kind of going to be a little State of the Union, kind of just address everything that's been going on with the Yanks over the past couple weeks. First things first, chat, how we doing? Good to see you guys again, as I'm sure we got some people piling in here still. We will have a watch party tomorrow, so, we'll still be able to go through everything as we typically do. But, with the off day today, I really wanted to come on here and kind of just discuss my thoughts because, in large part because I'm a Yankee fan and I enjoy doing this. But also, when this tailspin first began, I was, very optimistic. And I was saying to people, be patient. It's going to be over soon. And, this obviously does happen every single year. And I don't say that as a negative thing in reference to the June swoon or the summer swoon. I say it almost as a positive because it actually has never affected us. I mean, the main ones being 2022 and 2024, miserable to endure, but in the end, we still won the American League East. Now, that's not my point coming on here today, and I'm actually going to get probably lean a little more pessimistic than I typically do. What I want to get to in regards to the way I was feeling early on in the slump, first things first, it's a shit show. We're down 3 games now in the American League East, and there's no way to spin that positively, and that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to, as the pessimists like to say, I'm not going to be pessimistic, I'm going to be a realist. That's, I just replaced the word pessimistic with optimist. But no matter what, this is a shit show, man. The last couple weeks, especially what we've witnessed since the start of the Toronto series, has been absolute torture, and now being 3 games back of Toronto in the East, what can you say about that to, try to put lipstick on a pig? You can. It's despicable, it's embarrassing, and it's pathetic. And those are words I typically don't like to use with the New York Yankees unless it's, due to a lack of effort, which this is not about. It's just poor performance. Now, let me finish my first thought. In regards to, stay calm, it's going to be all good, this is torture, it'll be over soon. I stick by what I said 100% because pretty much everything to do with that notion was in regards to the offense. And the positive from the last week or so is that the offense seemingly is on its way back. They've averaged 6 runs per game in July. And, whether it be Judge looking a lot better at the plate, Cody Bellinger, shout out to him really quick. We're doing that every time we come on here, and we'll continue to do so because he has just been fantastic, whether it's offensively, not just from a statistic standpoint. He's hovering right around an 800 OPS and now has 13 home runs after this weekend. He should have been an all-star, by the way, but to be honest, I don't care all that much about that stuff. The play yesterday, phenomenal. The two-strike approach, everything he does, it makes you want to kind of turn into, talk the way like my dad would, Dan Work Sr., any old-fashioned baseball fan, and just be like, yo, Cody Bellinger, he's a ball player. But forget all that. Generally speaking, the offense has looked a lot better as of late, and that was mostly what my optimism during the beginning of this slump, which started, we all know the date by now because I keep mentioning it, and understandably so. June 13th is when this, tailspin really began. And a lot of that to do was with, some bad mistakes. And listen, unfortunately, in this era of Yankee baseball, which I'm certainly not going to blame on Aaron Boone because he is just, I don't want to say the scapegoat of it because he does have an impact on, the daily decisions. Of course, the lineup, I do believe, is his doing, same with bullpen decisions. But I'm just going to say this right now. If you're somebody that wants to get rid of Aaron Boone, trust me, he's not the one you have a problem with. It's the organization and how it's ran, period. If he goes out today, they're going to bring in somebody just like him, if not, quote-unquote, worse, depending on who you ask, tomorrow. So, some bad mistakes, base running, whack fielding, and a lot of that, to be honest, I don't want to pick on him, does pertain to Anthony Volpe. But, a lot of it was to do early on in the slump with the offense. And the offense, while not exactly back to the number one lineup in baseball, again, they're averaging over 6 runs a game. They're tied for 3rd in MLB since the start of July in 4 runs scored, WRC plus, OPS, whatever you want to put it. The offense is looking a lot better. Judge, Bellinger, Goldschmidt even is picking it up. He's hitting 330 so far in July. I know he's only played 4 games, but that was obvious that was going to happen. The offense was going to get back on track. That was going to level out, and it seemingly has. Where I lean pessimistic and where this does turn into something to actually be concerned about and not just any old, it happens, which again, I stand by that 100%. It does happen. It'll happen every single year when an offense goes cold. And it's not just in reference to, sorry, I'm all over the place here, but I have so many thoughts. We're going to be here for a little bit, chat, so kick back and relax, or don't relax because it's stressful times. Although we did win yesterday, thank God. Again, shout out to Cody Bellinger for that amazing double play. But yo, I mean, I've witnessed, whether it be a full-on collapse or the threat of a collapse or just bad baseball, well past or well beyond, this era of Yankees, whether it be the Judge's Yankees or Aaron Boone's Yankees. Dog, you guys know I watched starting back in 2011. Was my first season. My second year being a Yankee fan every day, watching was 2012. Good grief. For those who were around then, that may have been the worst collapse I've ever seen. Now, they ended up, same thing, holding through in the end and winning the AL East. But the Yankees had like a 10-game lead right around this time over the Baltimore Orioles, and it came down to the last series of the season. That was under everybody's favorite manager of all time, and I respect him to a great deal, Joe Girardi. Same with the 2017 Yankees. We were right around the middle of June, probably right where we were at our peak, around 15 games over 500. By the time the All-Star break hit, we were 2 games above 500. And, come season's end, we make the playoffs and everybody forgets about it. So in terms of the general idea of, a slump, the summer swoon, just like, again, the idea of it sucks. I want to enjoy my summer. Like, I feel like every 4th of July, it's like miserable baseball watching. It's just not ideal. But in terms of the overall outlook on the season, the general idea of a June swoon, summer swoon, has not affected the Yankees. That is, in large part, just baseball, and I can deal with that. What concerns me here is, chat, we're in a bad spot with the pitching. I was about to just say the starting rotation, and that is absolutely the case, but more so the bullpen. Now, we have Cam Schlittler. I'm working on saying his name. It's like brought back an old speech impediment that I thought was long gone, but I think I got it down. Cam Schlittler, he's set to go on Wednesday for his MLB debut. That ought to help out a bunch. For those who aren't all that familiar with what he's all about, drafted 7th round, I think, of 2022, I believe, or maybe it was last year. Forgive me. But anyway, 6'6", hard throwing right-hander, big dude. His fastball has touched 99 miles an hour. In recent outings, so the velocity is certainly there. His breaking stuff is apparently beloved by scouts. He's looked at as at least for a prospect, complete pitcher, and he's a guy the Yankees, of course, desperately need to not just show us something, but he may, for all we know, get playoff starts. And yes, we are making the playoffs, chat. The East, I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. A lot of it's going to have to do with this pitching staff. I'm sorry. Anybody saying the Yankees should sell? Stop, please. We're not wasting another year of Aaron Judge's fucking prime. I'll tell you that. First things first. And second, please take a look at the rest of the American League. We are making the playoffs, so drop all that crap. And I know a lot of it's just it's people's way of insulting, I don't even know if we're going to make the playoffs, whatever. Anyways, with the pitching, man, I mean, the loss of Clark Schmidt is devastating. Devastating. I don't know if there's a word that surpasses the severity of devastating, but if there is, it's that one. And, obviously not just for this year. He's probably out all of next year as well, which very unfortunate and is awful. So the current state of the rotation is, Fried, Rodon, which, man, Rodon giving up 6 runs the other day with the state of everything, the law. We can't be losing Rodon starts. And that wasn't on the team. That was on Rodon for giving up 6 runs or whatever he did. He was awful. And I will say, I'm a Rodon guy, and I've been, gassing him up ever since last year. I was talking very highly even about his season in 2024. Had one bad month. Outside of that, he was a sub-3 ERA starter for about 26, 27 starts. And then this year, off to a great start as well and looking great. But many have mentioned that it seems like when a big game arises that he does not, show up. And to be honest, I can't really dispute that. He's got to be better, and with that said, you got to win every Max Fried start, which they did yesterday. Got to win every Carlos Rodon start. After those two, we're looking at, technically, Will Warren's number 3. He'll go in the series opener against Seattle, and then we'll see what Cam Schlittler is. I imagine that's definitely not going to be a one and done. So for right now, he's a fixture in the rotation. Or fixture, I don't mean like that, but you know what I'm saying. He'll be around. And, Will Warren and we already mentioned Will Warren. Marcus Stroman. Stroman can't be starting playoff games, but in the meantime, that is what our starting 5 is. And will the Yankees go out and get a start at the deadline? I think absolutely. They really don't have a choice but to do so. But honestly, a lot of it's the bullpen that more so concerns me because, listen, I think Rodon's going to be better. Will Warren got lit up in Toronto the other day. I still trust his stuff enough to where, I think, even talking Marcus Stroman, man, he wasn't great the other day, but with the Yankees starting 5, and we'll get, of course, Ryan Yarbrough back, probably some point in August. Luis Heel, that's going to be a big return to the point where, I have no problem with the Yankees considering him a trade acquisition like they often will about injured players returning for the first time all year. Usually an annoying sentiment. In this case, it's kind of valid. But no matter what, they got to go out and get a starter. And that was the case probably before Clark Schmidt. Really something you would want to do. Now they don't really have a choice. But, dude, the bullpen is what concerns me. And I'm talking not really in October sense here, because I think no matter what, the Yankees are going to take care of these holes that they have. And third base as well. We'll probably discuss that. But this is about the pitching, man. They're going to get a starter. They're going to get relievers. But when it comes to the latter, you need to get I want a reliever almost tonight, dude. Like this week before the All-Star break. Because if we're still thinking AL East, which obviously we are, and I still hold out a lot of hope that the Yankees will win the AL East, with the current state of the pitching staff and the loss of Fernando Cruz is just deadly. Deadly, deadly, deadly. And we'll be getting him back, so not as detrimental, as I said, about, with Clark Schmidt. Cruz will be back, but losing him has been awful. If we plan on, winning the AL East and keeping this a race even, man, like, we got to get relievers in here now. I mean, there were guys that were being thrown out there this weekend against the Mets where, like, even I have, like, no idea who this guy is outside of the, the tweet roster move notification the Yankees put out in the morning. Like, I just can't even remember the lefty's name by now. Like, it's already slipped my brain. And in terms of the guys we do know, I mean, Hamilton had strung together a few good outings, but for the most part this year, he's been disappointing. And in the game one on the 4th of July, which was a great freaking day until the bullpen blew it, we put a lot of blame on Luke Weaver, and rightfully so. Not in a disrespectful way, just like, we lost a game because Luke Weaver gave up that 2-run shot to Jeff McNeil. But even before, like, I'm sorry, Ian Hamilton, right now, you cannot be allowing the game to get within one. Like, you got to throw a scoreless inning. Everybody's got to be throwing scoreless innings. I know that's an unrealistic ask, but it just feels like the necessary ask at this point. Loaiska, you have to be better. Devin Williams, I won't say he has to be better because really just the outing in Toronto, and that wild pitch was, kind of weird. Not blaming him or Ben Rice in that case. And he was good yesterday. But, man, I don't worry about the offense right now. And that was the same deal as when the slump first began. That's why I wasn't all that concerned, because the offense would come around, and it has come around. But you give this bullpen a lead, it doesn't feel safe. And if, God forbid, the next 3 weeks resembles any bit of the last week, dude, we're going to get way past 3 games in terms of the deficit for the American League East. So with that said, the bullpen needs to be addressed, obviously, by the deadline, and that was always going to happen, but it kind of needs to be addressed, like, right now. We got Seattle coming up. We got Chicago coming up. And no, don't get your hopes up that a trade's going to go down any day now. It probably isn't. But, I mean, I have a lot of faith. But there's only so much you can do. And part of this is not the Yankees' fault. And I say that half so, because, you lose Garrett Cole. We knew that going in. The loss of Fernando Cruz, devastating. The loss of Clark Schmidt, devastating again. Cruz, we will get back. And losing Jake Cousins is a loss as well. But in a way, I don't give them a total out because of that. I mean, we're supposed to be compared to, or really they're supposed to be compared to us, but it's kind of flipped. The Los Angeles Dodgers, I mean, they've endured every pitching injury and more this year, but they were prepared for it. And if the Yankees weren't prepared for it, which, can't totally blame them, you got to address it now. And if you don't, we could be in trouble. So the offense, you got to go out and get a third baseman for sure, but that's not even because of the state of the lineup. I really don't worry about what we're rolling out there 1 through 9 every day. Now, Jason's got to play every single game, and that could possibly affect the playing time of Trent Grisham, but they'll make it work. That won't be an issue, and maybe even if there's a trade, not from a selling perspective, again, please don't ever mention the Yankees selling. That is not happening. Aaron Judge is 33 years old. Please turn your brain on. That is not happening, with all due respect. You're not selling him off, but if you can get a big league ready arm in a trade for Trent Grisham, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Especially when you think about the lineup every day come the playoffs. A platoon would work, and the Yankees are certainly going to be platooning regardless, because you're going to want to play Ben Rice at first instead of Paul Goldschmidt, and Goldschmidt will play at first against lefties. And I like that. I like having the options. I like being able to, whether it be having the guys off the bench to pinch hit or just a stand-up platoon that actually truly works. The Yankees have that going right now, and that's fine. But if you can get, a big league, a solid, legitimate reliever, or something to do with, a package deal for a starter, and Trent Grisham's involved in that, I'm not opposed. For third base, you just got to get somebody that can field a position, hit a little bit, sure, but the issue with DJ LeMahieu is not the offense. He's actually been pretty good since the beginning of June. June 1st, I was kind of shocked to see this. DJ's batted over 300 since the beginning of June, with a WRC plus close to 120. Offensively, he's actually been pretty solid, and his OBP is nearing 340, 338. I mean, offensively, he's been fine. A 96 WRC plus, no matter what, he's been a massive upgrade, not upgrade, but improvement over what he was last year. The issue, as we all know, is you can't have Jazz play third. And DJ at second base probably just this weekend cost us 3 or 4 runs with his lack of range, whether it be to his left or his right, and that just can't happen anymore. I mean, we all get old. Same has happened to him, and I definitely obviously thank him for his time. He was a really good Yankee for a while, at least a couple of years, but at this point, man, he cannot be an everyday player for this team. Off the bench, sure, maybe. I only say that really because, again, the offense hasn't looked terrible. So the idea of maybe pinch hitting DJ, although I don't really see a situation where that would arise. Regardless, he can't be playing every day. He can't really even be an idea in this lineup, at least as a second baseman, because Jazz has to get back there. And shout out Jazz, who's was named an All-Star yesterday. But it's an old video. Let me kill that. Go out and get a third baseman, whether it be, a lot of people have mentioned Ryan McMahon. I'm not against it. I mean, he plays good defense. That's all you really need. And we'll see what the bat does offensively. Away from Coors Field is always a question. But this team, half the problems are fixed, at least when it comes to the defensive issues, if you will, by just moving Jazz back to second base, where he excelled early on in the year. And obviously, he's not as great a third baseman. The throws have been an issue, but really just from the standpoint of DJ is costing us runs at second base. So go out and get a third baseman. They're going to do that, whether it's Ryan McMahon. Suarez, I don't think is going to happen, and he doesn't play good defense anyway, so to be honest, I don't really want Suarez. I don't think we need offense. It may still be a hot take to some people, but I really do believe in what we got here with the lineup, and I mean that. It's just get a guy that can field the position, get Jazz back to second, and we're chilling, whether it be Ryan McMahon or John Heyman reported, and the Yankees are already, this is another thing John Heyman said, the Yankees are already engaging in talks, seeing what the market is for a third baseman, which makes sense. The deadline's only 3 weeks away. Ke'Bryan Hayes is a name that interests me. He plays excellent defense at third base. The main thing is get somebody who can play the position, gets Jazz back over to second, and at least when it comes to that side of the argument, to be honest, I'm chilling. And part of that is truly how I feel, but also it goes back to the pitching. We can't even really consider anything to do with the offensive priority right now in the trade deadline, except pitching is the priority, is what I'm saying. Pitching. Relievers now. Multiple relievers by the deadline. But again, I want an arm in here pronto, this moment. Hopefully while we're on stream tonight. That's not going to happen. But yeah, man, multiple relievers, a starting pitcher. And, some people will get a little pessimistic about the idea of, acquiring 4 or more players at the deadline. The Yankees have done that plenty of times. They've done it. They got 4 guys at the deadline in 2022. They got 4 guys at the deadline in 2021. They've got 4 guys at the deadline in 2017. It happens. It's not a matter of the quantity of guys they're able to get. It's, are they worthwhile pieces? And when it comes to the bullpen, I trust the Yankees for the most part, because Mark Leiter at this point is looking like an L on Cashman's end, and that's a move I supported last year because the Yankees usually do have their bullpen figured out, and I still feel that way in large part. But it's more so a matter of we got to get a guy in here now before we blow so many games, and the pitching allows us to be in the position where we're 5 games back entering the deadline, or 6 games back entering the deadline. And for all you know, the American League East is, God forbid, out of our grasp because we weren't able to save leads, or the pitching just led us to loss after loss for the rest of this month. Now, I'm not talking shit about the pitching staff. I'm not. I know they were great for a long part in this season. And again, a lot of this has to do with the injuries. But you look at what we have on the roster right now. I mean, this is not a World Series caliber rotation. It's not a World Series caliber bullpen. The offense can win you playoff games. And something I want to address is about Judge. When people say because a point I've made a lot is Judge getting hot will solve half our problems, offensively speaking. And I stand by that 100%. And we've seen it. Judge is looking a lot better, and the Yankees are scoring runs, along with other guys contributing as well. But people say, oh, you can't count on Judge because when Judge goes cold in October, we don't score, and that's it. We can't bank on Judge not hitting in October. We can't. If Judge doesn't hit in October, we're not winning. And that is just the end of it. We need Judge to play well in October. And again, the rest of the offense, they can score more than enough runs to win games in the regular season, and I firmly believe in October as well. There are good players, good hitters on this team, and not to mention the continued ascension of Jason Dominguez. We'll see where that goes. The lineup will be fine. Get somebody to play third. Jazz goes back to second. All right, bet. The pitching staff, though, you get a starter. You get multiple relievers, ideally one right away. And then as far as I'm concerned, you're the best team in the American League East. I still think it's hard to say with the injuries, but like I don't fully believe in what the Toronto Blue Jays are doing. They're just very hot, and a lot of guys who, we had baseball today this morning. Welcome back, Chris Rose. We had baseball today this morning, and one of the points Plouffe was making about what's so great about what the Blue Jays are doing is, the guys that are getting paid a lot of big bucks are, doing their job and playing well, but a lot of guys that weren't expected to play well are excelling. To me, that's just a call for a market correction, and I can't imagine, the supporting cast of what the Blue Jays have been doing is going to continue that for the entire season. So the Blue Jays will come back down to earth. But I can't automatically say, we're going to win the AL East because of where our pitching staff is. But if you make the necessary moves, and then again includes a third baseman, obviously, but if you make the necessary moves with getting a starter, and we need Cam Schlittler to be money, and not money, but just like do his job. I mean, this kid, I don't think I mentioned his stats before, probably because I'm freaking throwing out every thought I have here. That's kind of what we're doing on this stream. But Schlittler, there I go again. Cam Schlittler, he was nasty in the minor leagues. 2.85 ERA combined between double and triple A, like 100 Ks and 75-ish innings down there. So, I mean, this stuff is there. We need him to come up and kind of be a dog. Going to make his debut on Wednesday. Like, we need to see something, not just for his big league debut, but he's coming up here with some expectations to a degree, and a lot of that has to do with the current state of the staff. But, like, it all depends on the pitching staff. So, can I say for sure we're going to win the American League East? Until I see the moves made, no, I can't. Playoffs, absolutely. I'm not even going to discuss the idea of the Yankees missing the playoffs. We will have October baseball in the Bronx. Mark my words. You can put a gun in my head, and I would say yes. Yes, we will make the playoffs. We're not selling, not happening, so drop any of those conversations. Brian Cashman has a job to do. One starting pitcher and at least two relievers, if not three. And then you get Cruz back. Is anybody else coming off the IL? And Luis Seal, excuse me. I knew I was forgetting somebody. And you'll get Luis Seal back. And then we'll see who the best four guys are to take the ball in October. Because, in October you only need four starters. You need, you'll have Rodon, you'll have Fried, you'll have Rodon. And then the final two spots, let's say we go out and get a starter, it'll be a competition for those final two spots between the acquired starter via trade, Luis Heel, Will Warren, we'll see how he's looking, Ryan Yarbrough, and if he's still on the team, technically Marcus Stroman. And you can get funky with it. Like, say Luis Heel is looking good, but you don't trust him over a full 5 to 6 innings. You could look at maybe Ryan Yarbrough and Luis Heel as one guy. He will piggyback off of Yarbrough, and that's your Game 4 plan. I mean, it can easily work where before you know it, we're back in the World Series, and then you just got to win a series. It's baseball. Weird shit could happen, and that's not even what I'm relying on, because like right now we'd have to rely on that with where we're at injury-wise and just the roster. The pitching staff is not good enough on paper at all to win a World Series right now. If we were to like be optimistic and like, delusionally optimistic, which I do not consider myself to be whatsoever. I'm just not a loser who gives up, and I love doing this shit. I love the day in and day out. And honestly, when the Yankees are struggling like this, I lean in even more. Like, that's kind of what you have to do. Anyways, that's where it's like, oh, it's baseball, win a series. Like, no, the Yankees can still, if they make the right moves and get a starter, and Cam Schlittler looks good, and the Yankees take care of business at the deadline, and I'm talking to you, Brian Cashman, it's still right there for us, especially in the American League. The Tigers are the best team in the AL right now, no doubt. I mean, maybe some doubt because the Astros have been playing really well. But with this lineup that I still firmly believe in, that better see an Aaron Judge that hits in October, because if he doesn't, we are screwed. We cannot plan around a Judge no show in October. It cannot happen. He knows that. We know that. Everybody knows that. If Judge does not hit in October, we're beat. So yes, I am planning around that Judge will be Judge, at least to a degree, come the playoffs. Make the necessary moves up in the pitching staff. And chat, we can beat the Tigers. Sorry, we'll be able to beat the Dodgers. I mean, shit. In LA, why did we lose that series? Our starting pitching wasn't good. And if our starting pitching isn't good come the postseason, we're beat. That's how it goes. Need pitching more than ever. So, dude, I'm almost more ready than ever, yo, chat. Like, this is going to be a stretch, especially the next few weeks. Like, we got the dog days coming up. We, of course, obviously the deadline. I'm more so concerned about the next 3 weeks and how the Yankees play until moves are made. Once the moves are made, and we'll see what those moves are, we should still be set up to ideally win the AL East, as long as it doesn't get too out of hand over the next couple weeks, and go into October and plan on returning to the World Series, and then we'll see what happens there. Now, if they go on to lose the World Series, you guys know how I feel. Like, I don't give a damn. Like, making the World Series and losing it, you might as well have not made the playoffs. To me, it's nothing. You better win. And that's the thing with the Yankees. Like, They know this to a degree, but you are the New York Yankees. There is no world where anything but winning is a success. And I don't care what Jeff Passan says. Like, we don't need anybody else to tell us that. We know how we feel. We know what we want. And it's a World Series win. And I'll tell you, man, if another year goes by with Judge's prime, not to mention Max Fried's prime we can start talking about now, but just going off Judge, if another year goes by and Judge turns 34 in April and we still haven't won, chat, who am I going to be blaming? Is it Aaron Boone? Good heavens, no. There is one person to blame, maybe two, but it's particularly Brian Cashman. Hal's another conversation. I mean, I have my issues with Hal, but in the end, Brian Cashman has had either the first, second, or at worst, third highest payroll in baseball since our last World Series championship, and the results have been one that, more often than not, with those circumstances, we get a GM fired. Now, if the Yankees win, we're chilling. That is kind of how this works. I like to be rational. I like to, not call out guys for no reason. With Cashman, I apply that logic to once the season ends, that's usually where I go in at him. And that's nothing that drives me insane. People will be like, oh, Dan, you're cool with this complacency. Why? Because I don't blame the fucking Yankees if they give up 6 runs or what the pitching staff's doing, these losses on Aaron Boone. No. You blame one guy, and that's Brian Cashman. Come season's end, I always go with Cashman. Because what we've endured, trust me, is unacceptable. But for right now, we got a deadline coming up. And the deadline can fix all these problems. If Brian Cashman goes to work, and I have faith that he will, because why wouldn't I? Cashman does always make trades. It's a matter of if they're good ones or not. And last year he made a good one with Jazz, but the overall quantity of players acquired was not enough, and the quality of players outside of Jazz was not enough. But something will be done. It's up to, it's up to us to judge how well it's done. But really, we'll see on the field. If they win, it was good enough. If they don't win, it wasn't good enough. And that's the only kind of, I use the phrase monkey brain a lot, because some takes that I see do deserve the title of monkey brain. But I turn my monkey brain on when it comes to that. If you don't win, it is a failure. And you should do everything in your power to ensure you win the next time. Last October, even though we made it to the World Series, for all of us was embarrassing the way it finished. You have another year of Judge putting up historical numbers, and a team that I consider to be still the deepest squad he's ever been a part of. You're 3 games back in the American League East. You're going to make the playoffs. You have to acquire a starter, a couple relievers, and a third baseman. Way taller task has been handed to a GM before. Get it done, and we have just as much of a chance as was discussed a couple months back. So that's kind of where I'm at, chat. We got the Mariners coming up, starting tomorrow on Tuesday. We'll be here for the watch party. I think we'll be live every game during the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we got Seattle. It'll be, Warren tomorrow, Cam Schlittler on Wednesday, Stroman Thursday, and then Rodon on Friday, Fried on Saturday, and then probably Will Warren again on Sunday against the Mariners. We'll be live for the Cubs, who are a first place team. It's a tough schedule in July. It is. We'll be here for the watch parties. We're going to be here throughout this entire thing. And that's something I encourage all of us to do, chat. Join me on this ride of leaning in when the times get tough, because I've endured this before, this sort of thing. We all have. And when I was a lot younger, it'd be a thing where, take a single individual game, for example. The Yankees go down early. And you're thinking, oh, game's over, I'm going to turn it off. And then they're coming back and you turn it back on. To me, that feels shitty because I wasn't along when times got tough and I came back for the good. Same with, say, I don't know, the 2016 Yankees. The season was over, trade deadline, everything washed away. Maybe you start watching a little bit less. And then all of a sudden the kids come up and it's like, wow, we're right back and I'm watching again. It feels cheap, it feels weak, and I'm never going to do that again. And that was a long time ago. I'm well past that now. But I encourage everybody to lean in even further during this time. And it doesn't mean, you're complacent with what's going on in the organization. It doesn't mean you're, being a shill. Which, what does that even mean, motherfucker? I'm a Yankee fan. Yeah, word. That's, look at my pinned tweet, bro. Oh, you're a shill for the Yankees. Yes, I am. I don't give a damn. That's what I do. This is what we do, chat. We watch the Yankees. We root for the Yankees. And when things don't go well, we're pissed. Get pissed then. Be pissed every single day. Because then when things are going well, you can be happy every single day and it doesn't feel like you're a front runner. And chances are, if you're in this watch party or you're in this stream right now, you watch the stuff that I'm on or just if you're in this every day, like, salute to you, yo. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. So I highly encourage everybody to, like, yo, stick with it. Endure the hard times so we can celebrate the good times. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm very nervous for this upcoming week. Very nervous. And just the next few weeks, but I think I've kind of said everything that needs to be said. I'm not trying to gloss over that we need a third baseman, but it's more so the idea of it can be any third baseman that is competent at fielding. If you can field the ball and throw to throw to first, or they did sign, since the last time we were on, Jamer Candelario. I like that move. You know, switch hitter that a couple years ago, just as recent as 2023, was pretty damn good offensively. Somebody actually wanted the Yankees to sign when he became a free agent, ends up going to the Reds, and they DFA'd him earlier this year. Only played 22 games and was not great last year either. I can get excited about his bat. He's not a great fielder, though, so, like, what does that really do for him? Like, the other guys in this lineup, the only thing that's different about where I was at a couple months ago long-term with this offense is this guy, and shout out his dad, who was about to kick a Mets fan's ass, who was talking shit in the stands yesterday. That was awesome. The video's on Yanks app, Talking Yanks, if you want to see it, if you haven't already. We're at the point now where Anthony Volpe should be considered, for the most part, a bust, unfortunately. And you guys know I'm a diehard Anthony Volpe guy. I don't want to say diehard, but, like, Volpe's my guy. I want to root for him so bad, and I certainly still am. But right now I'm rooting for one thing, and that's for the defense to get back to the level that it was in his first year, and especially last year, where he was truly elite. Had 14 outs above average. This year, I think he may even be in the negative in outs above average. But, I mean, regardless, forget the metrics. We all know, and the metrics support this, Volpe has taken a significant step back at shortstop, and we can't do that because he's going to be the shortstop. There's no better option at the moment. Now, I mean, Peraza is sure, and maybe he should get some time every now and then, but let's be honest, Volpe is going to be the shortstop. So if you want to have hope for this year, you just got to hope, he can make the plays and you'll bat him ninth. And if that's the case, fine. Like, I don't mind a black hole in the lineup if they're in the 9 slot and they're playing good defense. And a black hole is being, like, if we assume good God, if we assume Volpe is a black hole, like, that floor is pretty low. Like, Volpe's better than that at times. It's just, at this point, the OBP, you see, it's 296. Last year was 293, and we're halfway through year 3 now, which we all consider to be make or break. I think the verdict, for now, I mean, shit can change, but I don't even want to get into that. For now, the verdict is in, like, Volpe has been a massive disappointment offensively. The defense has to get back to where it was, though. You hit a ball to short, the play needs to be made. Ground balls hit, to turn a double play, the double play has to be turned. It's as simple as that. That's all I'm asking for Volpe going forward. Other than that, listen, even if Goldschmidt isn't even on his way back, we got Ben Rice. I love Ben Rice. Ben Rice is great, and he's going to be even better. But let's just say Goldschmidt's still struggling against righties, which he had 2 hits against righties yesterday or the other day. I think it was yesterday. You platoon them. You platoon Rice versus lefties will play first. Rice versus right-handers will play first. Goldschmidt against lefties, which he's still hitting very well against lefties. Jason's got to be in there every single day. Jazz goes back to second. You'll get a third baseman. Austin Wells, I was down on him for a while, and not that I'm still not, although 2 homers a series against the Mets, that's a very welcome sight. Austin Wells is a good defender, and I think I took that for granted just a little bit. Throwing arm's not great, but in the end, I trust Austin Wells as a catcher at this point. Austin Wells is a catcher, and I want him to be playing as much as possible. So I'll backtrack a little bit on that. Does the Rice pass ball or the wild pitch in Toronto have a little something to do with that? Maybe, but everything I think about pertains to October, and if I'm trying to get Rice's bat in the lineup more while still having, like, Goldschmidt or, say, while Stanton's DHing, whatever it is, and I'm thinking playoffs, like, I don't think you can have Ben Rice catch a playoff game at this point, is kind of where I'm at. So Austin Wells, let's hope he hits, and kind of has to. And for right now, it's maybe trending up. But in terms of his defense, I certainly trust him more than any other catcher on this roster. So, just to go through the rest of the team, I mean, shout out Cody Bellinger again. I've discussed him a lot. Jason Dominguez is looking incredible. And obviously Judge is doing his thing. Stanton, I want to see him in the lineup every single day. I don't worry about him, but until I see him get every day at bats, I don't think he's going to get, like, lethally hot. The homer in Toronto was huge, but we'll pass that now. He's going to play every day in October is the point. So, like, he is your DH. So just long-term thinking, it's how do you get everybody's bat in the lineup? It's going to be platoon-based. Again, Rice will play against righties at first. Goldschmidt will play against lefties at first. In the outfield, chances are there's going to be a good amount of days, at least in the regular season, where Trent Grisham is playing against righties, as he should. Take a look at his numbers against right-handed pitching this year, and that continues to be the case. He crushes righties. So he has a very valid case to be playing. But Jason, the way he's hitting, and the defense does not look bad. It really doesn't. Jason can be a transcendent player in the lineup, and it's a lot to do with the obvious and the way he's hitting and all that. But like his speed is incredible, and he's got to start stealing bases more. When Jason's on, I want him taking off. He might be the fastest guy in baseball. I don't know the exact metrics behind it. I know there was a stat with the comparison to his sprint speed with Bobby Witt last year, which was like number one, and he matched that in spring training. So at the very least, he's up there. You're starting to see why Jason was so highly touted. And it's not just about like his ability to hit. And we know he's hitting better against lefties. It can't be a thing where Grisham plays against righties, Jason plays against lefties, because that's just doing yourself a disservice. And again, I'm not against, not in a selling perspective, but from a standpoint of improving the team. If there's a deal that returns a starting pitcher, whatever it is, to improve the current team now that involves Trent Grisham, I'm not against it, because it is a logjam. A logjam you can deal with, but I do get worried about the Yankees maybe opting to play Grisham more than they play Jason entering October. In my ideal world, you run out Jason as often as possible, really every day in the playoffs, and then Grisham just returns to being a fourth outfielder that once he does take over, you don't feel terrible about, or you feel pretty good, actually, about his chances offensively, especially against a righty. But yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at, Chad. And again, with the defense, like, a lot of it's to do with Volpe, man. This is not a thing where, Boone's Yankees, they don't know fundamentals, they don't blah, blah, blah. It's like, for some reason, Volpe just, I think this is the reason, is the yips, but like, he's just not fielding. If Volpe was the defender he was last year, in the first 2 years of his career, half of this conversation goes away, if not 3/4 of it. And the remaining quarter is Jazz goes back to second. You get a third baseman that can field competently, Jazz goes back to second, and let's say Volpe figures his shit out, which kind of is a big if at this point. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. That's really it, man. Like, who else? Who do you not really trust? I guess Jason, sure, but there's not really been that much discussion over Jason's defense this season, outside of the first 2 weeks of the season, and rightfully so. But like, Judge in right field, good defender. Trent Grisham, great defender. Cody Bellinger, great defender. Does anybody have any issue with Paul Goldschmidt at first base? I don't think so. He's been the best in the league at scoops. And remember, Jazz at second base is a phenomenal. It's not just a matter of, get Jazz away from third because he can't play there. It's that, and also get Jazz back to second because he's a really good second baseman. He was great. And then at catcher, again, Austin Wells isn't great at throwing out base runners, which the Yankees, it just seems like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like they haven't had a good, I guess it's just an arm strength thing. Although Wells' arm strength or pop time isn't like terrible. It's just he doesn't throw out runners. But it's not even him that's the worst of it. Like, J.C. Escara, God bless him, great story. To be honest, if we didn't have so many needs already, I would request a trade for a different backup catcher. But that may be getting a little bit greedy. Austin Wells is a good catcher, though, defensively is my point. So it's not a thing where, like, the Yankees' defense is just guaranteed to suck. Like, no, our shortstop, for some reason, is taking a massive step back, and we're playing a guy out of position. That is the story. That is the end of the story. You know what I'm saying? So it seems bad right now. It is bad right now. It is bad right now. It is legitimately bad right now. 2 weeks ago, it wasn't. When it was just the offense is slumping. Listen, we've all watched baseball before, so I won't pull out that line in regards to the way I feel, or I guess I will. Like, it's like, this happens. I've seen it happen. It's a thing where you watch the team every single day and you think what your team is doing, or in the case of, like, say, Aaron Boone, like, the decision he makes with the bullpen is the most egregious thing in all of baseball. Trust me, anybody who watches a team every single day will endure at least the first 2 weeks of the slump that we watched, or bad bullpen, whatever it may be. Like, that's just part of, like, being a baseball fan. Like, that's part of the whole marathon. The pitching, though, man, is the main point of, like, why I'm coming on here, or, like, what my actual concern is. The 2 weeks to begin this June swoon, summer swoon, is by no means equal to what we've witnessed over the last week and a half or two. The pitching has blown games, and a lot of that's to do with the loss of Fernando Cruz, and losing Clark Schmidt is awful. We need guys to step up, and we just need guys to do their jobs. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, and you guys know that, so I probably don't got to preface it this way, but, like, Luke Weaver has to be, like, you hand the ball to Luke Weaver, like, the game should be over. On or whatever it was, Friday, 4th of July, Luke Weaver was given the ball, 8th inning, or 7th inning with 2 outs, and that was the right decision. Here's another thing, man, that just drives me insane. Anyways, point with that is, Weaver's got to do his job, we all know that. Like, the Boone stuff, I was crashing out the other day, because, it's like, when Weaver gave up the home run, which, by the way, if Weaver's going to give it up game-tying and go-ahead homers, we're fucked, Chad. Like, it's the same with, like, if Judge doesn't hit in October, like, no, there's no discussion, like, we're fucked. But people were saying the other day, it's like, after Weaver gave it the home run, of course, like, why wouldn't you keep in Tim Hill? Somebody was saying to me, he's a nice guy, we talk a lot, and he's just as passionate as I am, so, like, I don't want to be, like, all high and mighty here. Like, in the end, like, I'm a fan watching from my fucking apartment bedroom. Like, I ain't trying to be that guy. I'm not that guy. But it's like, yo, somebody said to me, why would Boone put Weaver in when he should have kept in Hill to intentionally walk Pete Alonso, which would have been the go-ahead run, mind you, to face Jeff McNeil? Because their logic is, keep in Tim Hill to face the lefty McNeil. And it's just like a surface logic like, do that. Intentionally walk Alonso as the go-ahead run and put in Tim Hill, or keep Tim Hill in to face Jeff McNeil. Well, Jeff McNeil's hitting .320 against lefties this year. He rakes it. He's been better against lefties than righties, but like people just, they think it's Little League, and you just see this shit, and it's like, here's a take, and Boone didn't abide with what my service level take was. He's a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. And it goes past that with Boone, man. Like, I disagree with something Boone does every single day. The same way I did with Girardi every single day, brother. Just to make it easy, and for example, like, Boone's not the reason why Carlos Rodon got shelled the other day in Queens. Boone's not the reason why Luke Weaver gave up a 2-run go-ahead homer. And I'll tell you, in terms of the attitude that we all get so pissed about, which does piss me off too, like the post-game interviews, pisses me off like crazy. But not so much anymore because I know none of it's real. None of these fuckers are real. And God bless them. I love the Yankees. I owe them my life. And I mean that, yo. They've done so much for me, so there is a certain way I'll talk about them. But, like, they're the fakest MFers in the world. Boone, he'll never tell you, and this is part of why he was hired, which I thought was old news, but apparently not. Don't have to tell the whole Gary Sanchez story with Joe Girardi in 2017. But half of Boone's job is to keep everything in-house, not call out players publicly. And, like, I've seen people compare Boone to, like, a coddling parent. I don't see that at all. I mean, I don't know what kind of parents you guys have, probably great ones. But, if Dan Work Sr. had an issue with me, he sure as hell would tell me. Would anybody else know about it? God, no. Would he do it in front of the whole school? Would he do it in front of the whole team? No, it'd be in the car. It wasn't a pleasant conversation in the car. It'd be back home. It'd be indoors. Like, that's how this shit goes. Think about this too, chat. Which, we've been live for over 40 minutes now. Good God. Appreciate you guys being here. Click like on the stream if you haven't already, please. It does help out a great deal. And reminder, we'll be live for a watch party tomorrow. Think about this, chat. How kept in everything is with this team. Every single squad in baseball has had some sort of drama. And a lot of times it's bullshit drama. We can just think about the Mets come to mind because, the team we just played, and I listen to a lot of sports talk radio, so I'm probably second to the Yankees, most aware of what's going on with them. Like, not this year, but in years past, like, whether it be like that shit with Jeff McNeil and whoever it was in the tunnel, or just like drama in the actual clubhouse that we find out about. Chat, has there been anything that we've heard come out of the Boone era Yankees about anything? And the reason I bring this up is, what are the odds that's the case? You think there's never been a riff once, or is it just never gets out? They don't tell us anything. That is the whole Yankee brand, and it is irritating. It is irritating, but I kind of like cabinet it in its own little door. In that, like, that's all it is to me, is irritating. Same with what I always used to discuss about the injuries and how they don't tell us the truth about injuries. It's annoying. It's irritating as hell, but that's all it is. Like, if Boone says, this is a problem more so back then, but it'd be like, this guy's going to come back in a couple weeks, and it turns out he's not going to be back for a month, and it would be like, Yankees lying to us, blah, 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 which isn't wrong, but Boone lying to us never would affect the actual return date of the player. Like, no matter what, if the player was coming back a month later, he was coming back a month later, whether Boone told me it would be 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks later. What is. And not to get all philosophical here, I go down a rabbit hole sometimes with that, but again, like, even the way Judge talks to us, Judge uses a fake voice with us, chat. Listen to the way Judge actually speaks. He speaks like a fucking weatherman to us. They're not real to us. And again, I'm not saying it's not irritating, but you got to chalk it up as that. Don't pay attention to it. Don't watch it, honestly. I will still watch player post games. Boone post games, I'll watch for the injury updates and like stuff to do with the actual like transaction base and just like, but in terms of like a post game take on a loss, it's the same way like you would handle something, or like the way I handle something. Like, if you're dealing with something, like, not in that way, like, I don't want to be all fucking whatever, but like, you handle it. It's your problem. You deal with it. You don't got to tell everybody about it. And ideally they do. And I'm seeing comparisons too with like Judge and Jeter. Shout out my guy Joe's, who posted a Jeter post game a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, over a decade ago, and like kind of saying like, I wish Judge would speak like this. It's the same thing, really. Jeter was always criticized for being too vanilla and not giving us anything. The issue is kind of, it snowballed into, good God, they are the most like PR cover up, like anti-media. They don't tell the fans a lick. It's gotten bad. but it doesn't affect the performance on the field. That's not why the pitching's gotten shelled. That's not why, like, when the Yankees weren't hitting with runners in scoring position, it's nothing to do with complacency. It's nothing to do with, oh, they don't care. That's something that cracks me up. Like, I know it's a little insult. We all need a little pound of flesh. Oh, they don't care. Like, they're lifeless. There's no heart. It's how it always looks when a team's not hitting. Like, what are they supposed? If I'm sorry, if the Yankees had bases loaded and they strike out 3 times in a row, like, what are the vibes supposed to be? Like, what are they supposed to look like? Like, I want you to look dejected. Like, are they supposed to be smiling? Are they supposed to be, like, all full of energy after looking like shit? No. Performance equates vibes. Performance equates emotion. Like, that's the way it is. If they win, we're happy. If they lose, we're not happy. So there's a lot of fluff going around. A lot of things I think are a complete and total waste of time. So I wrap it up with this chat because I do got to get out of here. The pitching needs to be fixed. Yes, get a third baseman, but we need a starter and we need multiple relievers. And in terms of the latter, when it comes to the bullpen, that's got to be addressed like now. And I'm even going to check my phone right now, chat, and see if a move was made. Not just yet, but it better be soon. And by soon, I mean before the All-Star break. And that's not going to happen anyways. But ideally not waiting around until July 31st. I love you guys to death. We're not going to be chopping it up in the chat because I didn't go to the gym today because there's no game tonight, so I got to go after this and do some legs. Wonderful. But love you guys so much. And if you're not like following me on Yanks Ave and all, like if you're just on the YouTube end of things, like do yourself a favor, or like do me a favor more so. Don't do yourself a favor. That sounded rude. I'm more active on Yanks Ave like than ever now. Like for those that used to follow me on Twitter back in the day, like at Dan Allen Rourke, like I don't really tweet as much anymore on there, but it's basically gone to my Yanks Ave stories. I fucking crash out in there every single day. And part of why I bring this up is like, bear with me. Like when I say certain things to certain people, which I don't feel bad about. Like if you're annoying, I have really no issue telling you to fucking off yourself. I just don't. Like, don't be a fucking irritating asshole. I'm just saying, like, that's how it works. Like, I would never say something rude to somebody who isn't being rude first. I consider myself the nicest person in the world. But anyways, the reason I say that is, like, bear with me on, like, a lot of the posting and the way I'm handling this whole thing. I fucking lean in when times are bad. And, like, that comes off a certain way, I'm sure, at times. But, like, don't ever think I'm too much of a psychopath. But maybe I am. I don't know. At least about this fucking team, chat. Love you guys to death. I'll see you, remember, tomorrow for the watch party. Yankees-Mariners. Will Warren on the bump in Game 1. Cam Schlittler's MLB debut on Wednesday for Game 2. And then Marcus Stroman Thursday for Game 3. So, I mean, obviously, like we discussed at length now, not in a great spot pitching-wise, but it's a long season, yo. That's the whole point. So, stick with it. Don't leave. Don't leave. And if you leave, like, I can't say don't come back in October because I know you will. But, like, I don't know. That thought process never really sat well with me. And, like, even Yankees things aside, yo, like, it could go back to, oh, my God. Like, I don't want to get all, like, life-based here, but, like, we've all been in a relationship before. And I remember, like, first high school girlfriend, like, we break up. And I just think back. And we, of course, got back together a million times. And I would think back, like, while it felt right in the moment, the way I would act in between breakups, it's like, man, like, we're back together now. I really just probably shouldn't have acted that way in the meantime because now it's like, what was the point of it? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stick with it. Think about yourself. Act how you would act in October about right now. Or like, act as if you know everything's going to be all good. And that sounded like wrong. And I don't even mean it like that. Like, I'm not trying to come off as like complacent with this shit because you know I'm not. And if you still think that by now, please, like, it's like, handle yourself the right way. You can't let every emotion turn into a take. There's a reason why, as psychotic as I am, and there's a way I know I carry myself, it is never like what was I saying about Volpe before? I think it's pretty official, like, we're in bust territory, at least offensively. You'll never hear me say a Yankee sucks. You'll never hear me be like, oh, fuck this guy, fuck. It's not what I do. I know I'm not the person to say, oh, it's immature type thing, but, like, in a way it is. And I take this shit way too seriously to, like, let every emotion steamroll into a take just like that. Like, feel the emotion, do not act on it. Which, again, I know is ironic as hell for me to say, but believe it or not, I truly abide by it in my day-to-day, and I certainly apply it to the Yankees. Because I've said those crazy takes before when I was younger, when I was in high school. And then you quickly realize, like, oh, wow, that was irrational. And it feels like shit. It feels stupid. And it's not being fake. It's called being logical and understanding, this sort of thing has happened in the past, and I've let it lead to me saying stupid things and things that, aren't a rational idea when it comes to the state of the team, the future state of the team. Like, that's what people are doing right now with, oh, this team should sell. Or, like, whether it be the boon stuff, it's like, I get it. We're emotional. We know our pound of flesh. But, like, yo, we're all fucking smart, yo. We're all humans. The smartest fucking animal on the planet, chat. Think. Let it process. That's what I do during the games. You ever notice, like, I rarely will make a take in-game during the watch parties. My takes are on the pregame the next day. I have to let it marinate. Like, let it all marinate. Now, with that said, and I'm not lecturing anybody here, obviously. Dan Rourke is in no position to lecture anybody. I'm just saying how I feel and what I wish I would see more of. Sometimes the take is just a good old fucking F-bomb, chat. And that's what I do more than anybody. Because that's just feeling the emotion, and then I'll let it simmer. I'll actually feel it out. I'll sleep on it, and I'll come back the next day with a take. Because any take that's driven purely off emotion is useless. It doesn't mean anything. You can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? So, love you guys to death. That'll do it for this stream. Back tomorrow for the watch party. Again, we'll be probably live Tuesday through Friday. Obviously, I go back home on the weekends. Shout out Dan Rourke Sr., who I don't know if he's watching right now. He's convinced that he should be the Yankees' new hitting coach, and he probably should be. The guy is a genius. But, you know. Anyways, also, some other news. Well, before we get into this, shout out... I don't have the chat pulled up at all right now. I got to go after this. But shout out Morgan and Luna, who I'm sure... I know Morgan is. I'm sure Luna is as well. Luna's always here as well. Moderating the chat. And also, we're bringing on a new intern named Tim, who's my guy. I was talking to him yesterday. Great dude. You guys have probably seen him in the chat. I believe his name is Merch. He may be in here right now. But anyways, this might appeal to some people. But what he's going to be doing is after the watch parties are done, we're going to have like every moment and inning like time-stamped and all that. So... I know a lot of people we have our crowd during the watch parties that we're vibing with the whole community, which is awesome. Some people also like to go back and watch just if Judge hits game time home run, oh, what was this freaking idiot's reaction to it? Now that kind of thing, like the big moments and by inning will be timestamped. So welcome to my guy, Tim. Pleasure to have you, bro. Look forward to it. And shout out all you guys, yo. Because if you're watching this right now, I know, you kind of think how I do, and that's going off the basis of one thing, that we're going to be here no matter what. No matter what. And that's what I was saying the other day during the Blue Jays game, yo. And good God, chat, I would have been a fucking legend, I swear. For those who follow me on Yanks Ave, when the Yanks were down 9-0, and I was seeing I was tweeting out every freaking pitch I'm going to watch. I'm going to lean even harder. Everything I've been kind of telling you here. And then they almost came back and won, and it would have been awesome. But if you're about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm going to keep, I don't want to keep rambling here, but see you guys tomorrow. Let's go Yanks. Big week coming up. And then the All-Star break a week from today. So that'll do it, yo. See you guys next time. Let's go Yanks. Wait, hold the phone. Holy shit. Sorry, I spoke too soon. Shout out my guy Morgan, who just let me know we got some super chats. I definitely don't want to ignore those, and I would never do that intentionally. But I also don't want to be like, oh, let me just assume they're super chats, so I'm going to pull it up. But no, shout out Morgan for letting me know that. Let me go through these really quick. Let's see. What do we got here? I see Theo Harris. Oh, let me just pull up the fucking thing. Bear with me, y'all. I hope you guys are still in here that are that sent in the super chat. One sec. I see Theo Harris with a $5 super chat. Says the issue is these basic mistakes we make always seem to come back to bite us come October. That's why these last few exits have been embarrassing. I mean, in terms of the Volpe error, sure, but that's the only thing from World Series Game 5 that led to why we lost. I mean, Judge dropping a ball in center field, that's not a fundamental issue. Rizzo, and thank you so much for the super chat, by the way, Theo. Rizzo and the communication with Garrett Cole, that was something that never happened before, and that was really just a Rizzo issue for never wanting to take the ball to first base himself. Volpe and his defense. Communication with Garrett Cole, that was something that never happened before. That went away. I'm telling you, man, a big part of it is that Judge hasn't hit. If Judge is Judge in October, which we have to bank on, dude, it'll mask those issues, which I don't even anticipate happening. Again, if Jazz goes back to second, you got Goldschmidt at first, you got a third baseman, let's say, that can feel the ball. There's one guy I'm worried about, and it's Volpe. We can have that conversation, and that we certainly have had that conversation. But, yeah, anyways, thanks so much, Theo. I appreciate you, man. You guys are the best. Love you guys. I hope I didn't miss any other super chats. If not, I'll make sure to get it on tomorrow's stream. But now I actually got to go. Gym closes soon. Love you guys to death. See you next time.